Divorced Dad Diaries, day 24. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and usually the first thing I do when I wake up on a Saturday is get started into chores. But I've been at work, at home all week, having sachet coffee, so naturally this is an excuse to go out. Alright, let's go to the park. Little did they know I was going to leave them in the car for 5 minutes while I run into the cafe and get a takeaway coffee. But we ended up at the park. It looked like it had been raining overnight because everything was absolutely soaked, but we did what we could with what we had. Back home, it was time to have breakfast because I realised I forgot to have that before we left, and clean the microwave on the list of things I needed to do today while I'm at it. I actually have significantly less leftovers than I did this time last week, so next week on my own I'm probably actually going to have to cook myself dinner most nights. Oh well. Once I was finished having breakfast, I moved on to the dishwasher. So throughout the week I generally just give the lunchboxes a good rinse and a shake just to make sure they're not too dirty, but on Friday night I put them into the dishwasher so that they can come out nice and clean, ready for the week ahead. Following that, it's on to washing, making sure all the uniforms have been washed, and I actually have pegs now, which means I can actually hang out my washing. Yay me. I also ended up doing a load of my own clothes, which I've just sort of been putting off throughout the week. Then there's a few miscellaneous chores like vacuuming, doing benches and surfaces, spray and wipe, all that jazz. And then I finally found one of the things that I missed in last week's grocery shop, and that was lunches for the weekend, so I just ended up making the kids some chip buddies. Now I noticed the lawn was starting to get a bit long, and it's not very often you get sunny days at this time of year, so I figured it was about time to mow the lawns. The landlord very generously left a jerry can and a lawnmower, so I don't have to purchase those, at least not yet anyway. Of course, with a new lawnmower I have to figure out all the usual bits and pieces. However, I did not expect to have such trouble with the jerry can. I couldn't even figure out how to get the lid off to begin with. So that made a fool out of me. And then once I'd finally got the petrol in the lawnmower, it was time to prime it, only to realise that I couldn't find where the primer was either. So that ended up making a fool out of me too. In the end, I figured it probably just didn't have one, and I just thought I'd give it a go anyway. There's sort of a primal satisfaction that comes from getting the lawnmower on in one pull, and I managed to do that. As soon as I started mowing, I then went about trying to figure out the most efficient way to mow the lawns, as always, which ended up being, I guess, a little bit more difficult than I realised because the plants are quite overgrown, so I'm going to have to deal with those someday. And after putting the lawnmower away, I then had to find out where I put the padlock for the shed. I found a padlock in the shed, but it didn't look the same as the one that was on the door. But fortunately, past me had it all sorted, as I'd kept it in my pocket, still attached to the keys. I then have to have a full body shower because I'm one of these people that has hay fever, which means I'm allergic to, plants, the things that surround us all the time. Having a shower just means I don't end up sneezing and getting itchy later. I could just take an antihistamine beforehand, but my male pride and stubbornness prevents me from taking the easy route. Not to mention I don't have any antihistamines at the moment. If you've been watching this for long enough, you know what I'm about to say, so I'm not even going to say it. It's now 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I've done all my chores, taken the kids out to the park already. Which means that I can just chill for the rest of the afternoon. I'm probably just going to do cottage pie for dinner, just because it's one of those dishes where you can just sort of make piece by piece over the afternoon and then just throw it in the oven when you want it to be done. Although it would have gone a lot smoother if I didn't accidentally leave the tap running and spill a whole bunch of water, but that's alright. Still a relaxing afternoon. And I can slow cook the mince as well, which is just nice and easy peasy. So I'm going to go enjoy a quiet afternoon, and I will catch you on the flip side.